strengthen our institutions,
Uh,
right? Institutions like the police, like judiciary, and all that,
but
where
we
we
know
have to,
now. We
yes,
know now. We say this all the time now. We
yes,
all know it, but
but then we have to keep saying it so that it can be relevant. We have to.
do
Change
you
does
think the
not come
people
when
in
we
do you
keep
think the people
quiet.
in leadership don't know that?
Well, some of us will get into leadership too and not change from what we used to be. That's the
Well,
truth.
well, the thing is that individual change can change yourself, can change you, can change your life. But what we're talking about is a change for a country of over 200 million people.
Yes.
And that's something that when I think about it, I won't lie to you, it baffles me how you do it all. Because I ask myself, how do you galvanize into a cohesive force of the same power, the same thought, the same vision, the same drive? 200 million people or so of different interests, of different backgrounds,
It's leadership.
different.
It's leadership.
Well,
Yeah, even from your own analogy, it's leadership. It's if they start in their own spheres,
yes.
right? Then others will emulate. They will produce people and all that, and some of those people will get into that position of leadership. Yes,
I think at times when we look at leadership as being from the top down, at times leadership can be from bottom up.
it actually should be from bottom up, so that when you find yourself at the very top, you already are known for something.
I think
That's
so.
it.
You know,
You're
it's,
known for something.
but it can be very disquieting.
Yeah, well, it can be. We're going to take another break now. Don't worry, it won't be too long. We'll be back shortly. Thank you. Welcome back to the program where we're talking to none other than Remy Ogunpiton. Now, Remy, in the last 3 or 4 decades, almost about 4 decades now, almost 4 decades, you've been doing business in Nigeria, you've worked in this same industry, you've led or headed, and then you have founded, right, companies that deal with production. What's that experience been like for you?
If I died and I had the choice of coming back again, I don't think I would have changed. I don't think I'll change my.
You will come back and do the
As
same
Remy
thing.
Ogunpiton again, I'll do the same thing.
Okay,
again.
fine. So,
Yeah.
so let's
Yeah.
start being specific about your experience. For instance, traveling around the country as a result of working. What was that like?
Okay, let me tell you. It's been interesting. When I came back to Nigeria,
Yes.
the 1980, I was in Kano. What I did was I bought myself a Volkswagen bus, a Kombi bus.
A boss.
Yes.
So we have that in common.
Yeah, and I equipped it with a bed, a kerosene fridge, a kerosene cooker,
Are you kidding?
and I spent 1 year traveling around Nigeria.
You did that?
Yes, I did. Yes, my first 1 year back in the country. There was nowhere I didn't go to. I traveled from. There was nowhere I didn't go to, and in some places I would spend a week or 2 weeks. I remember I spent 2 weeks in Boko.
Really?
Yeah, because I met this girl and I thought I was in love with her, but I had to move. But there was nowhere I didn't go to. From Sokoto
So
to
you left the love back in
Yeah,
Boko.
I moved, from Sokoto to Potiskum to Nguru to Biu to Daura, Dambata, Adeja,
Just driving.
Yola, Guzo, Mubi. Yes.
All
right
over.
down to Miduyo, Kafancha, Funtua, Adeja, Guzo, Kafancha, Kontagora,
All by yourself.
Shendam, Jos, yeah. And I did that for about 11, almost a year. And it was amazing.
And your parents left you to do that?
Yes, now. There was no,
Yeah, well, you were a full-grown
and
adult.
apart from that, Nigeria wasn't stressed now. Yeah, there was still armed robbery, but it was not like the way it was now. You could move, you could drive at night.
Yeah, that's true.
You could drive at night.
And police were friendlier.
Yes, you could get somewhere, park and sleep and wake up in the morning, and the villagers will come out and say, "Well, okay, look, oh, yeah, you want food?" Nigeria was like that. Now, it's not so much like that.
Yeah.
We travel a lot now. Our production crews today in Nigeria, when we travel to locations outside of, let's just say, Ibadan, Abeokuta, but the minute we're going to Ilorin, Akure, Benin, all those places we normally go by road. We go with police escort.
No.
Yes, we do.
But you didn't need that in
No,
1984.
no, it didn't. Even when we were doing productions where we were traveling on the road with things like Benson and Edge's Golden Tones, the road shows, when we were doing Rothman's Groove, the road shows and things like that, Peak Talent Show, Glow Soccer Academy, all of those things. We used to travel by road. We didn't used to go with police now. But now you do.
You do.
You know, some of the clients will not even allow you to travel without them. I mean, we work for flour mills, we work for a lot of the oil companies. You can't go anywhere without security.
Without police
Yeah, you can't.
these days.
Yeah, you can't. It's impossible.
Yeah. What's that like for you? Someone who's traveled all by himself
Yeah.
and now needing police escort to do that.
It's just part of the, it's part of the mix now. You know, these things, they become normalized. So you don't see, you know, what happens is that over a period of time, things that you're not used to, you now have to start putting them in place. And after a while, they become normalized. So you don't even see it as being unusual. You see it as being just part of.
Just part of
Yeah. You know, like our international clients that we work with,
that. Yes.
I'm not going to mention their names, but there's not one of them that comes into this country without security devices, which maps and tracks their every single movement, right up to where they are, with an accuracy of 25 meters. They carry it. It's not a phone, it's not anything, but a lot of people don't know it, but it will be on them. So that if anything happens, they can be tracked. So that is there. In terms of work, you know, liaison with Nigerians and getting things done, it's a bit more challenging because Nigerians are wiser. They know that a lot of these things that people do, you want to use a place, you want to use somebody's shop, you want to shoot in a location, they understand that what we're doing, we're being paid for it and we make money from it. They're smart. Social media, live TV, cable TV has made everybody understand.
Made them aware.
Yeah. So, you know, they will cooperate with you, but, you know, these days you need to drop something. We're shooting something in the market on the 3rd of February. We have to pay 250,000 naira to enter the market.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
How do you acquire your sites and locations?
Yeah.
What's been like?
We pay.
And then even shooting within communities.
Yeah, communities are easier because the shooting within communities, what you tend to do is that you identify who the key leaders are within that community, whether it's a traditional Oba or a chief or whatever, identify them, tell them what you want to do. At times, some of the things we want to do is actually to their advantage.
Yes.
And when it is, you know,
they might even end up being the ones entertaining you.
They'll cooperate and you know, we're Africans and we're Nigerians and we have a culture, you know, which is not this is not a corruption culture.
No.
But this is a culture of.
You did some tourism content, some of which you even graciously passed to us and we're using. What inspired that? Was it that your...
Yes, it was.
1980,
yeah.
1881?
Yeah, it was. And the fact is this, is that, you know what?
Road trip. You did a road trip.
Yeah, road trip, yes. Yeah.
And that's what opened your mind up to, I need to
And it still keeps on, and my mind still keeps on getting opened up every day. You know, we've had the opportunity of traveling around Nigeria to so many places, and at times some very obscure places. And the more that you travel, the more you see, number one, how beautiful we are as the people. The average Nigerian that you see in Lagos that is hustling is not your typical Nigerian. When you go to some of these obscure, remote areas and you see the land, you see the topography, you see the potential of the opportunity that there is, you start to say to yourself that I need to do something about this. And that was what inspired us basically starting to put that kind of content together, because we just felt that, well, look, it's our country. Yeah, there's a lot that is wrong with it, but we still have one or two things that we're proud about. And at least if we can't get there, let's show people the beauty of Nigeria. When I traveled around Nigeria around 1980, in Jos, in places in Jos like Shendam and all of those things, then I used to go into, they have a lot of tin mines there, which were then being run by expatriates.
Yes.
And most of the tin mines then had orchards, they had gardens. I used to go into those orchards and I used to pick fresh strawberries, blackcurrant, pomegranate, apple, peaches. But now, you can't do that. But the thing is that we are able to do those things if we put our mind to it.
But they are even they're in, was that in Jos now? They're in Plateau.
Yeah,
they
Plateau.
have started cultivating strawberries on a large commercial scale.
But then it wasn't a big deal. It was everywhere. You just pick strawberries, you pick blackberries, you pick blackcurrant, anything that you want, you just pick it.
Yeah.
Those days you go onto the farm, you give them like, I don't know how much, you give them like about 20 naira. And then you can just take.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Maybe like 2 naira.
I don't know. I
1980.
can't, no, maybe about 2 naira or maybe 1 naira or 50 kobo.
Yes,
You just go and you pick everything that you want to pick and you go.
When you go.
Yeah.
So now, so that's like your own way of giving back to society?
No.
The tourism content?
No, it's not. I think you get to a stage you need to give back.
Yeah.
So what I try to do now is I try to give my services free of charge to churches, for instance, who want to do media training, to universities.
Okay.
We're doing something now with NIJ, Nigerian Institute of Journalism, where every Saturday they come across to our facilities and we give our time and our equipment to train their students in the area of broadcasting and production. There are other things that one is doing, but what I've found is that the only way I can give back, and I feel very, very satisfied about it, is to try and improve what is going on in our industry, because there's so much, there's still so much to do.
I want you to give back to us.
Okay.
Let's work together
on
a documentary.
Okay.
On the bridge, when you are coming towards the island, Okobaba,
Makoko,
the timber.
Yes.
I'd like us to do
the funny thing,
a documentary on that, because there's a period that they will bring so much of the timber.
We discussed this,
and it will be all over the place.
We discussed this in a meeting.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks ago in our office.
And we'll go all the way
to Ondo,
Kitipupa,
where they now build the raft,
exactly,
and then ship it down.
And if possible, follow the raft.
Who's going to follow them? Me and you?
No, follow. We don't have to be the ones.
We have big belly now, so
we have underlying. I have underlying issues. Even the children will say, "Hey, Daddy, where are you going?" but let's do that together.
No, I would love to do that, because that would be an amazing.
It's a good way, and it will be something we'll put in the public space.
An amazing film.
Right, to tell the story of the timber industry.
Okay. I'll take your offer up on that.
Yes,
we'll do it as a joint production.
Yes, let's do it together. Okay. Let's merge forces.
Yeah.
Right, write scripts and all that. I can voice.
We can put all those young boys to. You can go get this our young guy on the camera.
Yes. To shoot and all that.
You live on the raft for 2 weeks, because that's how long it takes for them to.
It takes 2 weeks. Yes, I know.
You'll be eating on the raft, sleeping on the raft.
Yes.
Just take plenty of mosquito repellent.
Yes, that's it. It will be good. It will be an experience for them. And worst case scenario, we can train somebody on the raft that can position the camera and all that.
No, they have to go with them.
Exactly. No, so that's it. Anyway, it's been nice talking to Remy. Remy, well, we know each other. We know how far we've been together. And I'm just so amazed at your accomplishment. I'm not any way flattering you. You know that. We don't flatter. But just commending your great work. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And we thank God too.
Yes. So we have another episode of Timeless Conversations. It's been Remy Ogunpitan as my guest today. Thank you all for watching.
Hello and welcome to the news. My name is Nyamgul Agaji and this is the news brief. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has signed the 70,000 naira new minimum wage bill into law following a disagreement between the government, private sector and organized labor. The tripartite committee submitted two figures to the president, with the government and private sector offering 62,000 naira and organized labor demanding 250,000 naira. Tinubu agreed to pay 70,000 naira from the initial offer of 62,000 naira. The Federal Executive Council meeting took place at the State House in Abuja.
This is minimum. This is not maximum. Any employer that has a capacity can pay as much as you want, but no Nigerian worker will offer services and be paid anything less than 70,000 from today. That is the implication of this act. It applies all over the nation. And we're excited that this is happening at a time like this through President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a man who cares for the Nigerian workers.
In addition to signing the Northeast Development Commission Act, the Northwest Development Commission Act, the Southeast Development Commission Act, this has never happened in Nigeria. So I think this movement from 30 to 70 and reducing the negotiation years is clear demonstration of a commitment to redirect, refocus, and reposition Nigeria for greatness. I think we commend it.
Niger State youths have stormed the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway to protest the country's rising cost of living and the removal of fuel subsidies. They chanted anti-government songs and displayed placards with messages like "Fuel subsidy must be back," "Stop anti-masses policies," "Enough is enough," "We are not slaves in our country," and "Hardship is unbearable." The protest comes 3 days ahead of the scheduled start date for a nationwide strike on August 1, which has seen the government and stakeholders plead for calm and patience from the President Bola Tinubu-led administration. The government has warned that the protest could be hijacked by hoodlums and escalate into violence. The Inspector General of Police, at the request of human rights lawyer Ebunolu Adeborowa, a senior advocate of Nigeria, had on July 26, 2024 written. The senior lawyer had written the IGP on behalf of the Take It Back movement, one of the groups planning the End Bad Governance protest in August. The IGP, in his response letter today, directed senior police officers to attend to the request of the senior lawyer. The IGP also requested to have a meeting with Adegborua in Abuja on Tuesday, July 30, 2024, to deliberate further on his request. The protest against economic hardship, which is gaining traction on social media, has been scheduled to be held across all states of the Federation as well as the nation's capital in August. Prices of food and basic commodities have gone through the roof in the last months as Nigerians battle one of the country's worst inflation rates and economic crisis sparked by government's twin policies of petrol subsidy removal and unification of forex windows. Meanwhile, President Tinubu has ordered the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) to sell crude oil to Dangote Refinery in Naira. Zak Adedeji, Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, stated this today at the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. The development is coming amid the dispute between the 650,000 barrels per day Dangote Refinery and NNPCL, Nigeria Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, and other regulatory. This will ensure the stability of the pump price of refined fuel and the dollar-naira exchange rate.
Effective immediately that NNPC get engaged with local refineries, and we are starting that with Dangote Refinery, that the sales of crude oil to Dangote Refinery will be denominated in Naira, and also the sales of in these SSIs. And if you annualize that, that one will give us $7.92 billion pressure that we have. With this approval today through FEC, led by Mr. President, this has reduced by minimum of 90%. As a pilot, the council has approved that a settlement bank, which in this instance is Afri-Exim, should be the lead arranger. That will be the settlement bank, at least today, between NNPC and Dangote Refinery.
The federal government has set a deadline of May 29, 2025 for the completion of the 375.9-kilometer Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano Highway project. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, spoke at the site handover of the 38-kilometer dual carriageway section of the road to the Dangote Group in Zuba, Abuja. The project will be undertaken by Dangote, Julius Berger, and Bua construction companies. Umahi stated that the event also involved handing over the 38-kilometer dual carriageway to the Dangote Group and the launch of the Operation Free Our Roads project. He revealed that the project cost has been revised to 888 billion naira, which is 640 billion naira less than Julius Berger's initial estimate for the three-lane road.
So now we are at the section of Beja, and it's the last section, Beja. Beja has remaining 82 to complete this job by, May next year. They have to open up in one section. But let me commend them very highly. Very good job, quality job, and a lot of areas that have completed. However, we do not want this road, Abuja to Kano, to last beyond May 29th, 2025. So we're going to be discussing with that. All your outstanding certificates, will we be able to pay you within 1 week? We just launched Operation, Free Our Routes, which means that contractors working in all the routes, highways, must, as a matter of urgency, get palliative materials to fill the road so that no vehicle will fall on the road.
On day 2 of the 2024 Global Tech Africa Conference in Lagos, experts underscored the importance of understanding and harnessing the potential of artificial intelligence (AI) to drive economic growth across various sectors in Africa. Love Oyedokun reports.
The African Technology Conference from across the continent to explore the latest advancements and trends. Dynamic discussions and networking sessions connected attendees with thought leaders, industry experts, and innovators. Speakers delved into transformative technologies, including artificial intelligence, blockchain, cybersecurity, and fintech innovations.
The entire world is going IP, either you like it or not. Wherever you are on your phone, you want want to go on 5G, you want to go on 3G, you want to go on 2G, you want to go on 4G. You want to consume your shows that the technology is converging, and this is made possible because of the hyper technology.
Field data, soil data, which when combined with satellite imaging, you can use machine learning to process that and provide tailored recommendations, what inputs the farmer should use, what quantity, the variable application rates, health information, you can optimize crop yield.
Julie LaBlanche, a representative of the U.S. Consulate in Nigeria, led the Digital Transformation with Africa initiative. According to her, the initiative aims to expand digital literacy access across the continent with a focus on developing human capital.
Is that the U.S. Department of Commerce helps bring U.S. tech companies to navigate and work here in Nigeria and partner with Nigerian companies. So this creates employment, this works on digital skilling, and this really improves the infrastructure for the tech scene here in Nigeria.
The annual Global Tech Africa GTA conference convenes key players in Africa's thriving tech ecosystem to explore ways of harnessing technology for the continent's growth and development.
So the good thing about all these softwares right now today, software has made work very easy for us. It has made us more efficient and made us very productive. Okay, as long as you have an active LinkedIn profile, all this information you can derive from that profile, from your LinkedIn profile.
You look at everything going on around us now. We know that it's a smart world, it's a smart life that we live in, and technology is quite important for that, because with tech we can get a lot of things done.
Right now I have like 5 people working for me in different capacities, so it has definitely found a way to create more jobs. It has definitely found a way to even create multiple sources of income for different people. It has done a lot of good for the economy.
I remember years ago when I needed to send internet, I had to go to cyber cafe or there was a company that I was using, I think called Nova. I had to go to their office in order to send email. Now it's getting closer and closer to us. We are seeing education technology solutions that are homegrown, that are designed. Actually, me in education, I don't talk about things I don't know much about, but in education, we've seen solutions around our curriculum, around the way we teach, around the way we learn, and we are seeing that it's growing.
The theme of the 2024 GTA conference is Global Collaborations, Local Transformations. Love Oyedepo, Plus TV News.
Meantime, in a bid to provide trauma care and psychological support to survivors of sexual and gender-based violence in the Kaduna community, International Alert, in collaboration with the Ministry of Human Services and Social Development, has trained community first responders, security agencies, commission, and community leaders. The training focused on psychosocial first aid (PFA) skills to support survivors in the Juji and Maraban Rido communities of Chikun local government area. Esther Olamidari, the training facilitator, stresses the importance of more agencies, organizations, and individuals receiving psychological first aid (PFA) training.
Not equipped with the right skill to provide the care needs of the survivors. This training aims to bring the network of first responders together so that when there's an event of SGBV, collectively and within the referral pathways, survivors get the required services that they need within the referral pathways, ensuring that survivors are not exposed to further harm. Because when a case is reported and it goes to the wrong person, for instance, it jeopardizes justice, it jeopardizes the mental health also of the survivors. So this training is bringing all stakeholders together to ensure that we have a uniform referral pathways, collecting data, ensuring that even while we collect information,
to also put them stable to be able to access other helps. And from that point, know what other helps that will be important for them.
Learned on how to, in case anything should administer the psychological first aid. That is not something that only trained personnel can do, even us too. Even be it not in the hospital, I can administer it anywhere. Maybe the place is secured, safer for the survivor.
So I'm very happy because I'm in this training. It helped me a lot. Back to my community, I'll do step-down training for the down ones to know the importance of breaking silence. If they see anything, they talk. If they have any problem, they should report.
In a groundbreaking collaboration, the Taraba State government and the Nigerian Army have united to combat climate change and address pressing environmental issues by promoting a healthy ecosystem through large-scale tree planting initiatives. This partnership aims to enhance environmental conservation, protection, management, resuscitation, and rehabilitation across the state, a critical step following years of environmental degradation. Notably, this marks the first time the Taraba State government has fostered a civil-military relationship with focus on environmental conservation. Our correspondent Jude Nuhu Gundale filed in this report.
Taraba State, like other regions in Nigeria, faces a range of climate change challenges, including flooding, soil erosion, pollution, deforestation, desert encroachment, drought, and illegal mining activities. In response, the state government has launched the Greening Taraba initiative, which aims to plant 5 million trees across the state. Brigadier General Kingsley Uwa, the 6th Brigade Commander and Commander Sector 3 Operation Wellstroke, expressed the Nigerian Army's commitment to supporting this initiative and addressing the humanitarian and environmental concerns that threaten the local ecosystem.
Our environment has experienced the adverse effects of global warming and other extreme climate changes, such as drought, effects of rainfall, and extreme temperatures, among others. These effects have negatively affected both humans and animals and have also contributed to some disasters such as flooding, hurricanes, tornadoes, heat waves, wildfires, and pollution. Today, 6th Brigade is joining the good people of the state to key into the laudable initiative to green our environment through this symbolic tree planting campaign.
Governor Abu Kafis, represented at the occasion, reiterated his administration's dedication to tackling climate change challenges through proactive actions to ensure justice.
Through the Greening Taraba initiative, we are committed to protect and sustain our environment. Today, we are going to embark on this tree planting. I urge every organization to embark on massive and aggressive tree planting in Taraba State, because
given the severe impact of climate change being felt across the state.
I want to assure you, sir, that all the 16 local government chairmen are working assiduously to ensure that tree planting campaign is done in all the local government in collaboration with Ministry of Environment.
The government has pledged to continue the Greening Taraba initiative until positive results are achieved, restoring the state to its former status as nature's gift to the nation.
We'll now take a commercial break and we'll be back for the rest of the news.
Welcome to Bayes University, Abuja, Nigeria, with a legacy of excellence and a vision for nurturing future leaders. Bayes University is in a league of its own. We're all about our people, processes, and technology.
Bayes is one of the highly rated universities in Nigeria in terms of product quality standards.
We don't just produce graduates, but groom people into employers of labor.
And it has made us understand that learning is all about three things. We learn, we unlearn, and we relearn.
Bayes University Hospital offers a range of specialized services equipped with the latest technology, manned by a team of trusted professionals. And now, our vision extends beyond our walls with the Baba Ahmed University in Kano following our lead. Join us at Bayes University and invest in your future today.
Bayes University is the institution that you will get the best value for money education in Nigeria.
Proceedings initiated earlier this month, ended by the ANC in January after endorsing the newly formed Umkhonto Wesizwe MK party. MK secured 14.5% of the votes in the May 29 elections, placing third. Zuma now leads MK, which has 58 seats in the National Assembly. The ANC received 40% of the vote in the May elections, marking its weakest performance since ending apartheid 3 decades ago. Outside Africa, Russia has downed 39 Ukrainian drones, primarily targeting border regions, according to the Russian Defense Military. The drones were intercepted and destroyed in the Kursk region, 9 above Belgorod, 3 over Voronezh, and 5 over Bryansk. 3 others were neutralized in the Leningrad region. Russia has also launched attacks on Ukraine's power plants, causing severe electricity shortages. The U.S. has blamed Hezbollah for a rocket attack in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights, killing 12 children and teenagers. Israel also blamed Hezbollah and said it would strike hard against the Iran-backed group. Hezbollah denied responsibility. The strike raised fear
or the rocket was from Hezbollah. And one of the reasons that we're continuing to work so hard for a ceasefire in Gaza is not just for Gaza, but also so that we can really unlock an opportunity to bring calm, lasting calm, across the blue line between Israel and displaced from their homes. 60 or 70,000 Israelis, roughly the same number of Lebanese, and absent a secure environment, they're not going to be able to go home. So we're determined to do that. We're in conversations with the government of Israel. And again, I emphasize its right to is to get the ceasefire in Gaza that we're working so hard on virtually every minute of the day.
In business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has announced that it will publish the names of owners of unclaimed balances in dormant accounts that are being transferred to the Unclaimed Balances Trust Fund, UBTF, pool account. In a statement titled Frequently Asked Questions on the Guidelines for the Management of Dormant Accounts, Unclaimed Balances and Other Financial Assets in Banks and Other Financial Institutions in Nigeria, the CBN provided further details. Unclaimed balances refer to account balances and other financial assets that have remained dormant for a minimum of 10 years in the books of financial institutions, FIs, and qualify for transfer to the CBN. The guidelines also cover dormant accounts which are distinct from domiciliary accounts. Accounts eligible for dormant status include current accounts, savings accounts, term deposits in local currency, domiciliary accounts, deposits for shares and mutual investments, prepaid card accounts and wallets, government-owned accounts, and others specified by the CBN. And finally, sports news. The Tigers point guard Ezinne Kalu fired a warning at opponents after spearheading a ferocious defense in Nigeria's 75-62 win over Australia in the 2024 Olympics Women's Basketball Tournament Group B opener in Lille on Monday morning. Winning their first ever game in an Olympic group phase brought so much joy to Kalu, who could barely talk after the game, fired a warning at next group opponent Canada and France, telling FIBA.com that the African champions smell blood whenever they are on the court. She said, and I quote, "Our defense was relentless. Nobody's defense quite like us. When we are on the court, we smell blood. Nobody defends quite like us, and that is what keeps us going." Australia came out in the second half with their veterans and an amazing coach who knows what she's doing, but we kept our foot on the gas and kept on going. End of quote. Nigeria now faces France and then Canada in their next Group B fixtures. That's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. You can also view us from Limex on limex.tv and Glow TV apps anywhere in the world. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. Thank you for being there.
I will take you through this amazing lesson today.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Shimori Badejo holds a first degree in mass communications, master's in communications arts, and a PhD in social psychology, specializing in mass mobilization.
The simplest definition of public relations, which also relates to a nation, is doing good and letting people know. Now, what we hear, it's people demarketing even their country. I grew up in a home where the fear of God was actually implanted on us.
What led you to the good old days?
I realized that they lack sense of history. Even if history is not allowed in schools anymore, let us see how we can bring snippets of this history.
Timeless Conversations, airing every Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
Nationwide protest, the federal government has assured the public that it is actively addressing the challenges facing the nation amidst growing calls for a nationwide protest against President Bola Tinubu's administration. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, emphasized that the government is committed to resolving all issues in a manner that upholds the peace and stability of the country.
No need for any protest. Let us all calm down. A lot is happening. Nigeria is going to move and march on, and we believe that whatever government comes up will be in the interest of Nigeria. We don't think that there is need for any protest. We are appealing for calm. We are appealing for a peaceful resolution or peaceful approach to any issue. No need for any protest. Let us all calm down. A lot is happening. Nigeria is going to move and march on, and we believe that whatever government comes up will be in the interest of Nigeria. We don't think that there is need for any protest. We are appealing for calm. We are appealing for a peaceful resolution or peaceful approach to any issue.
Additionally, 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, while leaving the country home of Governor Alex Otti of Abia State, highlighted the importance of conducting peaceful protest within the confines of the law, as stipulated by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Within the Nigerian Constitution, protesting the wrong. Protest approval, then it will be against the law for you to go out on the street to protest. So my final word is that people should think about the implications of pouring out on the streets and restricting movement of other people and possibly inflicting harm and more hardship on the people. For people in Abia, my advice is that people should not pour out on this.
Joining us is a global affairs analyst.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for having me on this show today.
We are quite honored and privileged to have you gentlemen with us. Dr. Igboke, sorry, I tend to sometimes slip into the Igboke district. Yours is without a W. Doctor, I think it's imperative at this juncture that I first ask what is your position on this planned protest, and why are you holding to that position? 2 questions in one, sir.
Well, there's a proverb in Igbo land, which I will translate that he who uses the sword does not allow the sword to pass through his back, to go through his back. So that the masters of protests in the past are now afraid of protests. We must give it to some of the key members of the APC now, who were dogged protesters in their time. Remember the Nadeko days. Maybe some people are too young, or they were in deliberate amnesia to don't want to remember history. Let's now talk about the history of Ali Must Go in 1976 and all those ones. Let's come home clearer. When June 12, 1993 elections were annulled, left his cozy life and he hit the streets with his co-travelers in Nadeko and the National Democratic Coalition. You know, they were in the streets in the reality of General Sani Abacha against the hounds of Al-Mustafa and co. They were on the street protesting against the annulment. At a point, he forced the then head of state, the military head of state, to step aside, according to him. And then he gave a hell to the regime of Abacha, to the extent that some of them were forced into exile, some of them lost their life, but they kept on, even from exile, and the protests paid off. And that was what ushered in the democracy we are enjoying today, that started 29th May 1999. So let's not forget that the democracy we are enjoying today, 25 years on, was an outcome of protest. And that should be very clear and understood by everybody. And now, between 1999 to now, we have had protests, especially the ones led by Adams Oshiomhole, Nigeria Labour Congress, when he was president of Nigeria Labour Congress, against hardships, against increase in fuel, against all kinds of government policies. Nigerians hit the streets so many times. I remember in 2012 also, when the government of Jonathan wanted to remove subsidy, there was the same Nigerian group that came up and a coalition of civil societies, and there were protests in all over the country. Now,
I'll come back to you, Doc. I want to believe that, put succinctly, you are in support of the protest and you believe that it is a legitimate instrument of democratic practice for protests to happen. Thank you very much. Let me go to your colleague. My brother Nelson, would you be kind enough to let us know your position and why you are holding to your position regarding the planned protest?
Well, thank you very much. I think it is important for us to recognize that it is not that people are afraid of protests. But this particular one, if you observe developments within the polity, since we started hearing rumors of this protest, the organizers or those who are supposed to take responsibility for mobilizing for the protests, went underground. Nobody knew them. That is very, very unlike protests we have had in 2-3 days to the event. And a lot of Nigerians are still being haunted by what happened in October 2020, the EndSARS protest, where this same style came up. Hey, you are free to go on your protest, it's within your right, but don't infringe on other people's right to life, to businesses, to free movements. Hold your protests in a place where those who are not, but when you start hearing words like, oh, we are going to shut down Nigeria, like a young man was arrested in Plateau State, who burned army barracks, who burned petrol stations, who burned banks. You can imagine when people who are claiming to be going to hold a protest start using such languages, you become wary and worried that this is uncivilized. When we organize protests, we mention our names, we even give ultimatum. And on the day of the protest, we are there, you see us. We don't hide behind the finger.
believe that it is the constitutional right of those who want to protest that they can protest. However, in the backdrop of the point that your colleague just made now, that this seems to be a protest that is being that originated from a seemingly cloaked environment or movement, that people were originally not surfacing as the perpetrators or the organizers of the protest, and in the backdrop of EndSARS, the unfortunate ending of EndSARS, and what we have seen happen in Kenya, do you still hold on to your position that the protest is a legitimate constitutional right, and even if there were say misgivings about the nature of how it's been organized, it should still go ahead?
Firstly, I want to correct an erroneous interpretation. I think people are just being clever by half. There's a difference between protest and riots. When somebody comes out and says, I want to burn down police station, but that is a riot. That is an insurrection. It is not when people come with their banners, expressing themselves, saying that, okay, we don't want hunger in the land, speaking to the government, delivering letters and the rest. And it's not also true that these people are faceless. In the past 2 weeks, we have received and done and urged people not to join. So we have to look at both sides. And then when we also talk about protests, we have what we call intelligence services in Nigeria. We have the DSS, we have the NIA, we have a lot of, even the police have its own intelligence, and the military and everybody. No, what we do is that it is the work of intelligence to be able to detect and beforehand who are those that are trying to make a protest to become a riot. Because a protest is not a riot. A protest is not an insurrection. So with intelligence gathering, we'll be able to do, that is what the civilized countries do. You take out those who want to cause the protests to become riots. And that is the function of intelligence gathering. And then these things can be done easily by our security agencies, because they have all the equipment. We have empowered them constitutionally. They listen into conversations. They can do all those things. They can tap. They can do all kinds of things. So intelligence can take care of that. What government needs to do is to actually bring out modalities of how to say, okay, government can say we don't want people moving around the streets because it may be hijacked by hoodlums, by fifth columnists, by infiltrators who are like the young man who was arrested who's talking about burning down things. You'll find out that if such people infiltrate the protest, you'll find out that these are the people that will turn it to a riot. Therefore, you don't allow those. So you can say, let's bring out parks, like the Eagle Park, like the different parks. There are different parks in different cities in Nigeria. Okay, if you want to do like Roe Park in Yaba, they are different. They're also in different parts of the country. You can say, okay, restrict your not protests in a democracy because you are insinuating that there will be this, there will be that, there will be that. It's not a function of democracy. The work of the military and paramilitary and intelligence agencies is to ensure that protesters are protected and that protest doesn't turn to riots.
I'll come back to you, Doc. Mr. Kujimi, as a veteran protester yourself, and whether he deliberately wanted to praise you and some of the groups you belong to, he had earlier said that you people are quite tested in the area of protesting. You would ordinarily agree with Dr. Ibuke that protest is different from riot. And let's be honest with ourselves, we can no longer say that the protest is being organized by faceless people. Take as the intelligence infrastructure, and it's easy for the state, just like they homed in on the guy that you earlier alluded to and picked him because he had upfront expressed his desire to commit crime. They picked him, and so there shouldn't be any need for this level of paranoia on the side of the government and those who are pro-government that this one can degenerate into riot, because according to him, protest is different from riot.
Well, Bolaba, I'm sure you are aware, if you listen to what my other colleague said, he said some persons have said will join. If you say you will join, does that make you the organizer? Or you say, I won't be a party to whatever party, oh, a party is going on there. I won't attend that party. Oh, I'm going to attend that. Does that make me the organizer of the party? Absolutely no. So we must get these clarifications very clear. Then the fact of the matter is that nobody in his right senses will condemn protest. It's a fundamental right. But what we are saying here, even the senior advocate of Nigeria that you made mention of, he was on a national TV, and when he was asked, are you going to join the protest? He said, I don't know them. I can't be a party to what I don't know what they are doing. So so nobody is against protest, which will get that very clear. And he made mention of the power of the states. If the states is going to get information, you and I know that human beings will be deployed and technology. And whatever information the state gets, the state will not make it, the state has the discretion of what to do with that information, maybe after processing. But in this case, I'm telling you of a tradition that I belong to. A tradition whereby when we want to hold protests, we announce it and we say, this is the name of our group. We are going to hold a protest XY dates. This is our venue where we'll commence the protest, and this is where we'll go. But in this case, we started hearing about protests, and everybody, even the NLC, was asking government to dialogue with the protesters. And it was like, who are you? Can you dialogue with somebody you don't know? It is when you can identify your objects that you can dialogue, you can hold engagement with him. But in this case, they went underground until just about some few days ago that they started surfacing one after the other. So the right to protest is a legitimate right. But what we are saying is that if you are organizing a protest, of which I have done severally, of which I have been a party to, you must be ready to ensure that your protest is peaceful. The essence of the security agencies is to complement your own security. You must be ready to provide your own security to ensure that infiltrators will not come in to cause havoc.
I'll come back to you, Mr. Kujimi. Dr. Igboke, we have to go beyond sophistry now. We have to go beyond intellectualism and being academic. The truth, Dr. Igboke, as we know, is that there is anger and hunger on the streets of a major city. And if protest is not properly managed by people who are accountable, it could easily snowball into riot. Let's be honest with ourselves. Dr. Igboke, you will agree with me that the original planners of EndSARS never wished it to come to the kind of untidy end it came to, especially when some people, 27 police formations in the greater Lagos area were vandalized or literally destroyed. And so I'm sitting there, and you and I, Dr. Igboke, speaking to real politics now and not intellectualism. Do you think that a protest of the magnitude of the one that has been espoused in the last 2 weeks could go on across Nigeria and it will not easily cross the thin line between protest and riot, especially with disgruntled elements? Dr. Igboke?
Everything we do is about intellectualism, practical intellectualism. Okay, let's use the word pragmatism. As you rightly said, there's an African proverb that says, "We're laying us on the road." So there must be some platform. Some people said you should write letters. Some people said you should do a round table.
Which in some respects, as you said, which in some respects is already happening. Because come to think of it, I want to believe that the high rate of criminality, high rate of kidnapping, high rate of all these insurrections and this thing may not be too distant from the fact that some people have seen themselves to be hopeless, and they just want to inflict harm on those they perceive to be better than them in the society. Am I right?
Okay. Yeah. These things are expressions of frustrations. And that is why we said, okay, instead of saying, don't do it at all, I would have wanted a situation where the Nigerian state would have said, how do we manage this? By first of all, in the last 3 weeks, we would have said, okay, in the last 1 month, when this fillers started coming up, we would have opened a more conciliatory and dialogue position and say, okay, protesters, let us see you. Let us have your dates, as my colleague has said there. Let us have your plan. Let us have your routes, your map. Where are you going to? Where will it take place? Okay, don't do this. Let's do this. But what were we having? We were having threats. We are having people say, oh, we have foreigners want to invade the land. These are old stories we always hear. And we heard, even when the court has said that we don't need police permits to congregate, they still say that you need police permits and all those things. These are the kind of sophistry we have been hearing from the other end. There was no effort, as far as I know, to say, okay, identify yourself, come forward, let us dialogue with you, let us talk, let us know where it's possible. The state governors themselves have also said, some state governors have also dialogued with their people. It is even more at the state level, where they have dialogue with youth, talk with market women, talk with people, and they have gotten the assurance we won't be part of it. The same thing we expected at the federal level, to say, okay, dialogue with civil society organizations, call them and say, are you part of this? If they are not part of it, can we identify those who are behind it? And let me say something. We cannot, my brother said that how they used to do it, See, we have to be careful how we handle the Gen Z generation. We have to be very, very careful, because this generation, there's a disconnect between us and them. They are not wired the way we are wired. Protests now are more organic than formal, where you write letter and all this. They have the Twitter. They know how to coordinate themselves. Digital life is faceless. Digital life is very, very virtual. These people, they know how to coordinate themselves using all sorts of social media platforms, digital devices, and the rest that are not known to us in the days of the trenches, like my big brother is in the days of his trenches. Those things were not known then. Those times you need to have physical meetings, you need to identify yourself, you even need to register CSOs and all those things. But these guys, just like what is happening in journalism, where we are having the gatekeepers concepts being crashed, where people sit in their rooms and generate news and send, unlike the traditional gatekeeping concept. So we must move with the tide. And the government must also move with the tide, deploy technology and see how they can also use technology to be able to find out who are the organizers and engage them.
Mr. Kujumi, I want to believe, at least I've seen 1 or 2 pictures where you are literally amongst some people that the governor of Lagos State invited for some join on this issue of, as a veteran yourself, people like you ought to have posited some ideas at the level of the governor in Lagos, because I wouldn't know how close you are to Abuja. But like Dr. Igoke just stated now, some of you people trading ideas with how these seemingly faceless protesters can be effectively engaged with a view to dousing the anger and maybe taking the wind off their sail. Because as it is now, it does seem that some of them are digging in. They say they're claiming to want to resist whatever they believe the government is going to do to stop them from protesting. How would you want to respond to that, sir?
Well, Balaba, I want to quickly respond to what I think Dr. Igoke. He said the protest organization now is organic, not like in Addis. But I want him to recognize that we're a society governed by laws. And no matter what you do, no matter how organic you want to organize yourself, you must be ready to conform with the rules of engagement, or else you run into trouble. We saw the way their organic organization of protests ended with the End SARS protest in 2020, where there was arson, where there was rape, where there was cannibalization of security agencies, where police stations were attacked, burnt, arms and ammunition looted. And somebody will come up and tell me, oh, they are not, those ones are not protesters, they are hoodlums. How do I differentiate between a protester and a hoodlum? Is the so-called hoodlum, is he not a human being? Just like the protester? So if you are pampering this generation without telling them that, look, this is how a society runs. A young man will wake up, he will see Dangote having a private jet. He has not worked for 1 naira in his life. He will be envying Dangote that I want to ride a jet in the next 2 years. So what sort of society is that? So we have a role as leaders and elders to mentor these children to realize that the society runs by process. At a point in time, you'll be a kindergarten, you become a teenager, then you become an adult and you get married, and you start having children. And if God spares your life, your children also have children and you become a grandparent. So we must be ready to educate these children or this Gen Z generation, like you are saying, because we all have them in our homes and we have to play that role. Then talking about the engagement with the Lagos State government, yes, we were invited for a stakeholders meeting as part of the dialogue session by the states to talk to actors. The state governor told us that they've held meeting with market people, they are going to hold with the transport unions, they are going to hold with the local government chairmen and councillors, that they have the mandate of Mr. President to meet with the spectrum of the society. And at our own meeting, we gave the government some advice. And we got that message from the government that, look, this is the situation we are all passing through. Times are hard. It's affecting everybody, both the rich and the poor, you know. But the reality of our situation is that we need to maintain the peace in whatever we do. Even if we are going on a protest. Nobody has said nobody should go on a protest. But what we are saying is that maintain peace. Some elders have said don't go on a protest. It is not out of place for an elderly citizen to tell a young man, don't climb a tree without a rope that you can fall down. It doesn't mean that even if you're an expert in that field, that you could not have an accident. That's the role of elders in any society. They will admonish you. So in this case, we have passed our own recommendations on what needs to be done, because majorly what is fueling anger in the land is the cost of living. And we can see the efforts being made in some areas, and we are asking that more needs to be done. So we know the feelings of our people because we
tend to be ascribing too much to them. The one that we witnessed during NSAS did not end well. What we have seen in Kenya ultimately is very, very disturbing because it has ended in just about the same way NSAS ended. Major destructions, no much progress. The man ostensibly disbanded his cabinet. When he reconstituted it, about 70 to 80% of those he ostensibly sent home, he re-engaged, and now everything has died down. Is this what the protesters will be aiming for too in Nigeria? And the degree of economic damage that were caused innocent entrepreneurs, especially SMEs, during NSAS. How would you respond to that?
I will interrogate that issue with a rhetorical question. Why is it that always when there is protest in Africa, that's where you see a lot of violence, a lot of killings, a lot of destruction? But most of the time, when you see protests in the West, even in some parts of East, eastern part of the world, you don't see all this kind of violence. Was it in Hong Kong?
Dr. Bouquet, I beg to disagree. You need to look at some of the protest reels from the rest of America towards the end of Trump's last tenure. You need to look at some of
that was not a protest. The people that stormed Capitol Hill was not a protest.
Even before that, all the protests in some of these Rust Belt states where people were even killing themselves. My brother, protest anywhere in the last 10 to 15 years, especially in the West, has been more inclined to violence. You want to quickly do a cursory examination mentally to just review what I'm saying, sir?
Well, that is also like yellow vest protest that happened in France the other day. It was the way the state handled it. Macron was talking tough, and the police came out with brutality, and some people were killed. What did the people do? They wore yellow vests, and some of them, because of the increase of petroleum, diesel costs, and other gas costs, they went on. The truck drivers blocked the road and were making their protests known. The next thing, the police came in, and some people were killed, and it went out of hand. So most of the time, it is always the response of the state actors that trigger off violence. And as we have said, if we do more of proactive and preventive measures, some of these things will not happen. But when you now said, don't protest, it is not possible for human beings in a democracy not to protest. Now, what we are going to be looking out for is how.
Are they saying no protest, or they're just saying the protest should be within the context of the law?
We are saying because of the fear of protests turning to riots, that protests should not hold. That is what the people who are saying no protest are saying. That is the point. And we're not saying that the people, like my big brother Alojimi, when they were going towards the bullets of Al-Mustafa during Abacha's time, they knew that they knew they could end their lives there. They still went out to protest. Some of them lost their lives, but that did not deter them. So what we are now saying is that what cause is the protest for, and how do we guide the process? And that is like the engagements the state governments have been making. I'm not saying that engagement at the federal level. I said it earlier before you said it, that there were some state governors making some engagements. I'm not seeing it at the federal level. All I see is, tough talk, stand rhetorics, and the rest. And that is where the issue lies. Whether we like it or not, the generation we have created and our children is different from what we inherited from our parents. We have created a generation of children who question everything, who don't just take instruction because it came from an elder. In our own time, they said the elders are full of wisdom. But over the years, the elders have disappointed in Africa and turned Africa to a pariah continent. Therefore, the youth who are trained interrogate everything. Those days, if they tell you don't do this, we say, well, the elders have spoken, don't do it. But now, it is not true anymore. The elders are no more the embodiment of morality. They are no more the embodiment of wisdom. They are no more the embodiment of honesty. And that is the challenge we are having as a society. And sometimes when we talk to this, so the approach sometimes we use is very wrong. And that is the problem. There is a disconnect between us and the Gen Z generation. And until we start begin to tackle that and not talking down, these people want to engage intellectually. They don't just want to take anything. My colleagues say we have them at home. Actually, we have them at home.
Nelson, the point now where, you see, I must ask this question. It's tough and it's unfair to you as a person. With what I know to be your pedigree and your antecedents, fighting for democracy, and although within the context of the rule of law, I am thinking if the government has an asset such as you, it is surprising to me that you people will not know those who are organizing this protest. And let me be very personal with you now. I put it to you in a way that I find it difficult that Nelson Ekujimi, with the network you have out there in the ecosystem, in the ecosystem of democratic activism in Nigeria, that you will not know the people behind this protest. What would be your response to that? If I just get a bit personal, I know it's unfair, but I'm just putting it on.
Well, Goloba, quickly before I respond to that question, I want to correct an impression by Dr. Igboke, and that is that when we went out to protest during our own days, of which we are still on the field, even when we are assaulted by the security agencies, we don't burn shops, we don't loot, we don't attack police stations, we don't rape women on the streets, we don't extort people on the roads. So ours is quite different. Even when we are assaulted by the security agencies on the day of protest one, we still come out the following day because we have a goal that we want the society to hear our message. It is not about attacking policemen, killing them, burning police stations, carrying their arms and ammunition. So go and do what? When we are not armed robbers. So our own protest is quite different from these so-called organizers. Secondly, you asked about knowing about those who are organizing these protests. I will tell you for free. I've seen snippets, but I don't. Yes, I've seen snippets of those. Hold on, I've seen snippets to identify some persons, but I don't work for the government. It's not my responsibility. We have agencies of state statutorily empowered, funded to do that job. So let them do their job. If they need information from me, I will gladly oblige if I have it. But I don't have that fact. All I hear is, oh, we are going to protest. And I know quite a number of those who are making all this noise are not going to be part of the protest. They are just inciting. Look at the young man in Plateau State. He said he was just doing a skit, that he didn't mean it, that his friend told him it will put him in trouble, and right now he's in trouble. There are so many of them like that. Oh, we are going out there, we'll protest. And I've told some of them, we are veterans in protest. If you feel like protesting, go there and join the crowd, but ensure that you respect the laws of the land. The right that you have as a protester is a right that I have as a non-protester. You should not, because you are protesting, infringe on my own right. That is where the battle line, you cross the battle line. And that is the message we are passing to them. Free, go ahead, is your right. Even if you like, have a party, enjoy, engage the services of a DJ or a musician. It's a free world. It's your right, but don't infringe on other people's rights. That is that.
Like I was unfair to your colleague, I think it's about time I asked you a seemingly unfair question. Dr. Bokwe, putting your hand on your chest, do you genuinely believe that at this point, given the socioeconomic milieu of the country, that if an ostensibly innocent protest were to commence, it could not likely degenerate to something untoward? Can you consistently say that at this point?
Well, for a second, when you told me to put my hand on my chest, I thought you wanted to tell me to recite the old new national anthem.
Well, must you be in every material particular chicken? Why that backhand again?
Well, the issue is that truly there is tension in the land. There is palpitation. There is fear that the frustrations of people, the anger may go overboard. And it is the truth. So what needs to be done have already been started. For example, the issue of engagement is very, very important, because whether we like it or not, there are cells that coordinate these things. And it's not faceless. Somebody was just like Mr. Lijimia said that the boy in Plateau talked to some friends. There are cells and all those things. So if you have community leaders, the traditional rulers in some states have been engaged. They have gone home to talk to their people. The political leaders, in fact, the National Assembly the other time had to go for a recess so that those people can go back home to talk to their people. These are the engagements to keep to
Doctor, they say many of them. They say many of them.
And at this point, I think also, the government, for those who are insisting that we come out or whatever, you can, get it's like what Mr. Olujimi said. Don't get a small place, give them GJ, let them stay there in a particular environment, in a park or whatever, and make sure the police is there, the security agencies are there, the DSS, everybody is there to guide the process. That my fear is that if we allow it to spill to the streets for a parade or a movement, that is where the infiltration will come. So even if the protesters have a genuine intention, my say is that they will be infiltrated if it is allowed to be a procession. Therefore, the way to curtail it is to see if at the local government level, at the community level, at whatever level, they can bring out spaces for them to, sit down, ventilate, carry their plaque, and let them be in a particular entity so that the police and other security agencies can be able to provide adequate security.
Okay,
and as we say, so that it doesn't infringe on the rights of those who are not joining the protest. And I think that is the most feasible thing to be able to do between now and the 1st of August.
Doc, I'll come back to you. Mr. Kujimi,
or the other. Good enough. Most of the schools are now on holidays, especially secondary schools. But many universities are on holidays. So it's good for parents also to look out for their children to see what they are doing and what. Because the truth is that many of these children, many of these youth are misled. They don't even know the import of the activities they are doing. A lot of them lack media literacy. So whatever they see online, they just, take up the content without even be able to interpret what they say. Like the young man said, it's catching cool. Meanwhile, some other people have, some college youth are taking the content and the rest. So protest is not against the state. Protest is supposed to give you an ability to ventilate your frustrations, tell the state your problem and the rest. This is not to go and burn down police stations. It's not to go and attack military people or paramilitary or security agencies. That is riot. That is insurgency. That is not even riot. That is insurgency because you are fighting against the state. So that is not people who are trying to compare protest and that. I think I'm not doing protest any justice. Once it goes beyond showing your placard, singing solidarity song, putting your DJ and showing the government, writing a communique and giving to government and all those things. Once it goes beyond that, then it's not more a protest. It has become to either riots, insurrection, or all kinds of attacks on the state. And parents, the church, everybody are playing a role to ensure that even when there is protest, let it be confined to spaces that can be managed and controlled.
Are made available. Is it not important at this juncture that designated places are made available for these people, as we have traditionally, Mr. Femi Falana was saying the other day and was alluding to Hyde Park in London, a place designated for those who have issues to express. Is it not imperative at this juncture that as those guys in Abuja have requested for the Eagle Square or somewhere in Lagos where security can be provided so that law and order will be maintained, just as Dr. Ibuke has suggested? Is it not proper to do that, just to allow people to go on the streets and some miscreants can start committing crimes of opportunity based on the fact that it's an itinerant protest movement? What would be your response to that, Mr. Kujimi?
Absolutely, I agree that. I said absolutely, I agree, because we have a lot of facts that people or groups who want to hold protests can be availed, such that they don't.
You have to unmute. You have to unmute, please.
Like you said. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
So that we don't have.
It's tripping.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead, sir.
I said it is imperative that we continue to engage ourselves and make ourselves recognize that, look, there are identified spots or locations for protests or things like this. Like in Lagos, we have the Gani Fawemi Park in Ojota. There's also the MQ Abiola Park, also in Ojota, and so many other parks. So if the protesters in Lagos have told the line of the people in Abuja who are requesting for an identifiable venue, one would not, a lot of the tension in the land would have gone down that, okay, they are holding their protests in XY place, so they are not going to affect my movement. Oh, I can open my shop and do my business. Oh, I can go to the bank to, you know. But when you people continue to hide their identity, continue to spread messages of incitement. Oh, I saw a release from one of the groups that is also joining the protest, saying we'll shut down Lagos. And I'm like, what right do you have to shut down a whole state? So because you are protesting, you want to deprive me of my constitutional rights to movement, then that is uncivil. That is
wrapping it up now. We have to be wrapping it up now. Let me give Dr. Igbokoe the opportunity to do his wrap up. Doctor, how would you want to wrap it up? Especially you now talking or the take it back people.
Well, my experience, I've always shown that these people interrogate everything you tell them. And one of the things I want to tell the young people is that we need to interrogate some of those people that say we should come out to protest. Some of them, their children, they are not even in the country. They just go to their Twitter, go to their Facebook and post things and ask you to come out, shut down, use all kinds of complimentary language. Their children are nowhere to be found. Their children are schooling some schools in UK, Canada, so don't be an example. Don't be like it's just what is happening in Hamas, where a lot of the Hamas officials, their children are outside the Gaza, and they are killing the people in Gaza. So we need to put our thinking cap, know how to engage government. If the people are telling you to come out to protest, tell them, okay, get a place for us where at least security people can be there, whatever, if you must go out. And again, engagements are past the issue of even coming out physically to protest. With digitization, with social media, with all kinds of things, voices can now be heard without physical protestation and gathering.
At this juncture, I have a confession to make. Because Dr. Igbokoe, before we came on the air, he lambasted me, or politely, he didn't quite lambaste me, politely said, after all, you are outside Nigeria. And I took the pain to accentuate that my life is in Nigeria as in my wife. Apart from that, the most valuable assets I own on the face of the earth are in Nigeria. I may be doing this interview live from London, but I don't also want destruction, and I support you, Doctor, for this last word of wisdom from you as an elder who has seen it all. You know, some of us cannot have our children abroad and be calling for protest when we know it could easily degenerate to. But let me allow Mr. Nelson Ekujimi to do his wrap-up. How would you want to wrap it up, sir?
Well, my admonition also, we follow the same line like Dr. Igbokoe, and it is to the young generation, like I also do to my children at home. Unfortunately, Dr. Igbokoe said it doesn't, that in our own days, we don't question our parents, but our children these days question us. Let me tell you, Dr. Igbokoe, I question my father, and right now my children also question me. So it's a generational thing. It's human nature that children will ask, Daddy, why do you say I should do this? In this case, I want to acknowledge...
Mr. Nelson, Mr. Ekujimi,
yes.
We even used to think we were wiser. You see, because my own mother was she was an illiterate. I used to believe that I was more intelligent than her. Now that I know that even in her sheer illiteracy, she saw many things that
did not see. Than you 1 million times. So I just want to admonish our young ones that, like he has rightly said, they should interrogate issues. They should not join the mob in doing things. Don't say because your friend is a party to this, then you also want to follow. A lot of our young ones have met their untimely death traveling on that route. So we encourage them. They have the thinking faculty that is been endowed in them by the Almighty. And the reason for their thinking faculty to reason.
we have to really wrap it up, gentlemen. I really appreciate the two of you. You've been very resourceful and very engaging. We want to thank you, people at home. This is where we wrap it up for today. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
My name is Adegbenga Badijo. I am a chartered accountant. I choose to be part of the movement to change the narrative from the good old days to looking forward to a better tomorrow. I'm an Ijebu man from Ijebu-Igbo in Ogun State, born and bred in Ilesha, formerly in Western State, later Oyo State, but now Osun State. Though from a middle-class parentage and a humble background, I was born at the prestigious Wesley Guild Hospital Ilesha, with one of the best medical facilities in Nigeria and a retinue of well-trained doctors, nurses, and medical personnel to boot. So I knew this song as a toddler. Ìgbìmọ̀ mi rèjò fi ojú mi rò mí o. Ìgbìmọ̀ mi padà bọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ mi mọ́ dayọ̀. Ọba rere mọ́jọ́rọ̀ ẹkún bá mi. I grew up wanting to be a medical doctor. We lived at Kappa in Ilesha, the staff quarters of the Government Teacher Training College Ilesha, where my late dad was a teacher and a tent-making Methodist minister. Incidentally, I visited the compound a year ago, got to the house where we lived, and was taken aback by the level of infrastructural decay. The hitherto green, lush lawns are overgrown with weeds, with indiscriminate subsistence farming going all around the place. As a young man with a humble background, I missed nothing. In fact, when my late dad of blessed memory bought his first ladder saloon car at less than £3,000 with a car loan, I felt we had moved to the upper middle class. I never believed we didn't have what bourgeoisie had. There was no "my car is bigger than your own" mentality. To us, then, education was everything, and this still holds true today as the best inheritance and legacy that can be enduring. We can change the narrative by investing tremendously on rejuvenation of formal and citizens' education across board so that we can restore a value system that engenders transformational and healthy leadership traits for a better tomorrow. Our children deserve a brighter and a better tomorrow, not the good old days. I join Shemore in this collective drive towards a greater tomorrow. Thank you.
All rise. Court in session. Honorable Judge Fumi Asaolu presiding. Please be seated. Your Honor, this case is between Ijomo and Eunice versus Smart. Question number 4.
Thank you.
I don't want trouble because you want to disgrace me with my colleague. It's true. And that's okay. What will happen there is this. Me, I will not, because God called me, that I will not follow to tradition. Because something can kill a man, either myself or my children. Please, if you know you work with another man, just tell me so that I will send you to the village. They will do that thing for you there. But if you know that you don't go to sleep with other man, I have an ancestors. I will bring water. We will just wait. Then take the water, you drink it. Then finish. She said she cannot swear. That is how she pack her load and leave my house.
What happened is this. Actually, when I left, the cutlass, not twice, also 5 times. Even the big tiny table I bought 120, he used cutlass to destroy it. That day my children was crying. Before I left that day, the one that stayed with me, with my late sister daughter, he carried bottle and break it. The day I left. Every time we run to the tenant house, I have not seen tenant enter my house one day for settlement.
So if at this point, what you are saying is you want us to be sure.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're going to
DNA test. I need
for
it.
DNA
It's true.
test
I need it.
of all the children.
Yes.
And when the
For
result
the 3
is
children.
out, back in court again. You want to know the result of the...
Yes.
Why did you even dispute the paternity in the first place? What made you think the children could not be yours?
It was because the way she was treating my life with death. So I'm afraid. If truly those children are my children.
What has that got to do with that?
Because she's threatening me of death. She will send the children to me to tell me that the owner of my house. Even there, you are the owner of your house. But you're supposed to let me die first. Calm down. I'm still the owner of the house. So those things that she's doing to me make me too afraid. That's why I say I should go on this DNA test.
You were threatening him. You were saying...
Something like that.
I hope the two of you have thoroughly considered the effect all this could have on the children. Have you?
Yes.
And you are convinced the children are...
Yeah.
100%?
Yes.
When was the last time you saw the children?
I think after we have come to court.
You've seen them after that?
Yeah, I see them. And they always call me. And I call them too.
It comes out, you go there to check them?
I go there.
No,
they call me.
Nothing like that. You don't come. Maybe the senior one will call him on phone.
The senior one.
That's school fees. And this school fees now, the senior one have not paid.
How old is the senior one?
16 years. He said that he's waiting for DNA. If we called the school, then I called me. That look at what the father said, that he's still waiting for they are on DNA. So they have to wait. Just for the senior one, I'm the one taking the 2. He said I should take the responsibility of the 2. The 2 kids that is with the senior. That's what he said.
Okay, smart.
Yes, ma'am.
If the DNA results reveals that the 3 children are yours, what will you do differently from what you are doing now?
I will be happy to see that they're my children. I'll be happy.
And what will you do? You pay up the fees and everything? The outstanding school fees that she just spoke about, you will pay it?
Which I've been doing it before. So it's not the first time. I've been doing it.
Your Honor, ma.
When did it stop?
No.
When did you allege that it stopped?
Since I picked the children, I'm going to 3 years. I'm the one. It's only the first time when the senior one called in that there's no money that he paid for. He said that he would only choose the senior one. Just first time. The second time now they have not paid. The girl, not the other one. Even the other one, for now they don't pay no money with me. For the 2 small ones.
Which one of them have you paid for?
I just paid 90,000 for the child to write a senior WAEC. I just paid that. So I don't have enough cash with me. That's why I pleaded with them.
To give you time?
To give me time.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Not because you are waiting for the...
No, ma'am. No. Just for them to give me time because I don't have money for now.
So when will you pay now?
When I see the DNA test.
You will get the DNA?
When I see the result.
Wait. I'm saying The result is there in the courtroom.
Okay.
We will all know what the result is very soon. If the result says they are all your children, when will you pay?
The moment the results come out now that they are all my children, when I get home now, I will call the secretary. Then by tomorrow, I will start to.
Tomorrow is Saturday. Tomorrow is Saturday.
Okay.
By
Monday. The Monday, ma.
So by Monday, you sort out everything.
Yes, ma.
Wait.
No, ma.
What do you have to say?
Not for only one, because
we're talking about children. We're not talking about one. I said if the result is out and the children, I said if they, it didn't say if one.
Okay.
He said if they are my children. That means any outstanding one, he will sort it out tomorrow. I will be so happy that you will forget that tomorrow is Saturday. You will forget tomorrow is Saturday. You will be eager to go and make the payments. Do you understand? And I'll say, well, tomorrow is Saturday. That means you wait till Monday to sort everything out. And you are not living together right now.
No, ma.
So if the result of the DNA test declares all the children to be yours, is there probability of you, the two of you reconciling?
No, ma.
You are no longer interested?
Yes, ma.
You too?
Yes.
No problem. You see, nobody can force either of you to stay with the other. Do you understand? If that is your decision.
It is because of the threatening that this woman is treating my life. My life is at stake in her hand.
That's why you.
So that is why you see, even she now have to bring the children to herself.
How? I don't understand what you mean by that statement.
She brought her children to herself. She brainwashed them to her own self. That when she will come and meet me, I will be afraid.
You know what I want to tell you?
Yes, ma'am.
We have the DNA results soon. And even without the DNA results, these are children that have known you all their life as their dad. These are children you've known all their lives as your children. So, up to this point, I know that you are that fatherly figure they know, that you relate with. If she's trying to turn them against you, you must have that opportunity to relate with them as well. And it's not right for either of you to be saying negative things about each other when it relates to them. Let's have the DNA test, please. The results.
Yes, Your Honor. Here's it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
DNA Diagnostic Center from Leeds DNA Laboratories did this test result certificate of analysis. This is to certify that the result of DNA test conducted for Smart-O Oshonofo and the child, Prince Oshonofo, has been perfectly analyzed and concisely summarized below. The child is female. That's Prince Oshonofo. Alleged father, Smart-O Oshonofo. The above result summary shows that Smart-O Oshonofo is the biological father of the tested female child. As plainly expressed on the DCC test result sheet overleaf. Now, this is your baby. Probability of paternity, 99.9999997%. That's for the first child. And I can take you for as a fact, because they are conducted from the same place. The child female, testimony Oshonofo. Alleged father, Smart-O Oshonofo. Smart-O Oshonofo is the biological father of the tested female child. the DNA analysis is positive. Then paternity probability. This is even stronger than the first one. 99.9999999%. And the third child, Godwill Ashonofo. Alleged father, Smarto Ashonofo. Summary shows that Smarto Ashonofo is the biological father of the tested male child, Godwill Ashonofo. Probability of paternity, 99.9999998%. I think she deserved an apology from you. For the emotional torture. Please apologize to her.
I'm very sorry.
The plaintiff, Ijemuan Eunice, is deeply concerned that her husband is disputing the paternity of the children from their marriage. She affirms without a doubt that the defendant is the biological father of the 3 children. The defendant claims that the ease with which the plaintiff makes threats to his life makes him feel the children may not be his. He has put some bills payment on hold pending the outcome of the DNA test. But now that the DNA result has exonerated his wife, Judge Fumi wades into other matters pending resolution about the welfare of the children.
I want the two of you to have a forgiving spirit. You see, for a woman, it means a lot and goes a long way when your husband doubts the paternity of your children, despite everything. So, but in this instance,
a house together, which is 2, 3-bedroom flat, 3-bedroom flat, it both fences out. All my sweats, they are all there.
What do you have to say to that?
That one, I deny it. Nothing like that.
The bottom line is they need accommodation. What do you have to say to that? That's my own.
The accommodation. After all, I didn't drive my children before. She left them with me. Right?
She left them with you?
Yeah, with me, right from time.
Are they still with him?
No. Okay.
Do you understand? Accommodation, and I'll give you reason why.
Okay.
When there's hostility between couples, there's always that chance that you might reconcile and you might never reconcile. I've asked the two of you now, when we have this kind of situation, you take care of your rent. If they have an accommodation, just maintenance, hospital for the children, I've told you, provide somewhere they can go. For when they have medical challenges, they go there, you pick the bill. Take care of the school fees. Give her upkeep. Maintenance rather. Give her maintenance over the children. That's all that is left. So for the maintenance for the children, what's the age of the children again?
The senior one is 16 years. Why the second one is 9 years. Why the small one is 7 years?
These ones are very young. So they have the custody with her. So you have to provide something for them so that for her to be taking care of them. So how much are you? Can interpret what you are saying.
Yes, ma'am.
Because of all the reasons you just gave me now.
Yes, ma'am.
Your children should starve to death.
No. What we'll be doing there is for the both of us to be trying to take care of the issue. That's how I'm doing it.
She's going to take care of rent for food and other welfare. Clothing, everything. She takes care of that. They need clothes, they need shoes, that is your responsibility.
Let's put it monthly.
Okay. Monthly.
Yes.
So how much?
15,000. I've raised 15,000.
Everybody's laughing.
And because
you know what I want you to do?
Yes, ma'am.
There's no problem. She's right here. There are 3 children.
Yes, ma'am.
That's 5,000 per child per month. So 5,000 naira for 30 days and 3 meals. 3 times 30, 90 meals per child. So I want you to draw up a timetable of what you think she should buy.
With fancy money now. You get me? No, just like feel from me. I'm a working class man that I don't like sit down in one place. But since how many years now I'm in one place?
Because of what?
After the accident that happened to me.
Because of what?
The accident.
Which accident?
I sent it on the email, Abi, to the they brought to me. I sent everything. I had no copy with me. So since then I've been suffering in one place. My document expired in abroad. I can't go abroad again. And I can't even work again.
Those people living in Nigeria, they are not any income.
But I'm not working here.
So how have you been surviving?
I'm not working. It's the house.
I know you talk about a house, rent, I know everything.
It's from the house.
I didn't forget
sending money to them.
Huh?
Any amount that
From where?
From my house. When they pay me my rent.
They pay you rent. So you want to also go into how much you are being paid?
Let's go inside
How much are you being paid?
6,000 naira.
6,000 naira?
Yes. By a self-contained.
By
self-contained, yes, ma'am.
Where?
Where
is the place?
At Badagry.
It's not up to Badagry. I don't pay 6,000. That is pure lie. It's 250.
Eh?
250 for a year.
Smart. Smartly forget that.
Let's call one of my tenants.
Don't call anybody.
Let's call my tenant.
Did you hear what I said?
Let's ask them.
I'm not interested in how much you
Oh my
earn.
gosh.
I'm not. Look.
This woman is just lying.
Look
That's
at
why she say I'm running from her.
Are you listening to me or you want to listen to
Listen
yourself?
to me.
15,000 naira cannot work with me.
How can somebody pay 200,000 in Badagry? Badagry is someone budget. Is it possible? You know, what the fuck we know what we are saying. Is it possible?
Forget that. How much are you ready to pay? Now you have to push it up. 15 can fly with me. Definitely.
Ma, you tell me how much you want me to be paying.
You see, you know why I don't want to. If I mention, right? I have to balance it. If I say, okay, go and pay 300,000 naira per month, will you not scream?
I can't do it. I can't.
Exactly. So that's why I said, you can't leave it to me. You know that, as you said, even though you are not earning so much now, but these are your children. That's my own. So you should look at what you think is what deems fit to give them. Because you mentioned, I just look at it, 5,000 per month. You too, you know. We're talking about 5,000 naira per child per month, not per week. So what do you do about that?
In me, I know the money is not enough. I know how I take care of my children. But now I'm not working. That is the problem. I have a problem from everywhere of my body. So there's no work with me now. What I'm doing?
The two of you brought them into the world, though.
Okay, let's make it 30,000 naira. Let me try 30.
You know what I'll do?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make that 30,000 naira per child because that's 10,000 naira per child. That's average of 100 naira per meal. It's nothing. But I'll give you pay 30 this month. Do you understand?
We should remember that they are school fish. The school, you go and put those children.
It's basic.
They are too
it's
expensive.
It's not just you. Go and watch it.
The school is too expensive.
It's the way it is for the men. Which school is expensive?
The school, you put them.
You put them in another
school.
God.
Yes.
Where do you stay? Where was the school before? Which area? Badagry. Which area are they now?
Yanera. Yanera.
Where's Yanera?
It's far from Badagry. Before you get to Okoko, you're not there.
That's coming to Lagos.
Yes.
Not moving towards Cotonou.
No.
The more you come in, you know, the more expensive it becomes. I'm sure you know her capacity.
She has money more than me.
You are richer than him.
Thank God for that.
Really?
Yes, it's true.
You say so, thank God.
You do what?
If you say so, thank God.
No,
I
it's
claim
true.
it in Jesus' name.
It's true, man.
I claim it.
Then she's claiming it. She's claiming it in Jesus' name.
Because
if you are in the courtroom and you say yes, that is the position before the law. If you know not that you are claiming it. If it's yes, then that means you are to your front and you say yes.
Yes.
That means it's richer than you.
that's why I discussed with her. I said, okay, let us cooperate. Because let me have the senior one. I want to try out on university level. I discussed with her before.
The DNA test confirms that Smart is the biological father of the 3 children. Judge Fumi helped both parties to reach amicable settlement. After the break, Judge Fumi rules.
Okay, let me tell you what I'm going to do. And that's the way it's going to be. This month, we pay the 30,000 naira.
For their feeding?
For their feeding. Yes. So that means from July, you start giving her 50,000 naira. Henceforth, for the feeding of the children. You have 3 months to gather yourself together and pull in from July. That's from the 4th month. So the first 3 months, the court today will assist the family. We give you 20, you give her 30. We give her 20 for the first 3 months. Then from July, you start paying the 50,000 naira. Do you understand? So comply with everything we have agreed on today. That's my I rise.
All rise.
I didn't hear thank you from the 2 of you.
Say thank you, ma.
Thank you, ma.
If your baby daddy is denying paternity of the child to avoid upkeep, or you suspect misattributed paternity situations, submit your case online at www.thejusticescourt.com for a prompt resolution of the matter.
Everyone talks about getting their dream jobs, but what does it take to get that dream job? In a religious society like Nigeria, some people resort to prayer, but did you know that sometimes the only reason you're not getting the job isn't because you don't have the credentials? Many times about how well you can defend your credentials through your presentation and communication skills during the interview. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the rate of unemployment in Nigeria rose to 33.3% in December 2020 from a 27.1% in 3 months. Interview phobia is a major issue that contributes to unemployment in the country. Some individuals are employable but don't know how to express themselves properly, present their resumes, and network effectively. An expert spoke to us about interview phobia and how it has increased the rate of unemployment within the country.
Okay, so I mentioned I struggled. I went to Lagos State University, public university. Nobody taught you any of these things. And so I thought that if I come to the interview space, I would do well because I know I'm good enough. But coming in, it was difficult. I got plenty of rejections. And I made up my mind that if you can get past this thing, you would help other people who are also like you. And so sitting down in that space, I also see people like me and I feel for them.
According to Student Graduate Report, more than 50% of graduates in Nigeria disclose that communication skill is the least skill their academic education prepared them with.
Like we have a compulsory NYSC every year. I believe
the government or the educational sector should do something like, when they know somebody's in their final year, maybe they allow them go through a month or so, or they introduce a course and make it mandatory for them to be able to go out there and face the outside world when it comes to interviews, when it comes to networking and all of that. I've seen super amazing, intelligent people lost opportunities because they were not confident, and those who were not so smart but have built their confidence are able to get the job and get these networks and get these opportunities. Especially when you come from a Yoruba or Igbo family where you don't have to look at your dad in the eye. You get that kind of thing. So you have to learn to look at people in the eye when you talk to them. It makes them believe that you are not up to something. You're not hiding anything in your cupboard.
We're going to school or having to attend different schools, all right? They just teach us, we only have syllabus on what they've been doing so far in past years, and there's no trend of bringing in new things.
So the next time you complain about not getting a job, think about how well your CV is prepared. Assess your communication skills during the interview and think about how well you presented yourself.
This is the news update. The federal government has said there is no longer a need for the Plant Nation 2024. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said this while addressing State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council meeting on Monday, presided over by President Bola Tinubu. Idris stated that the government is already addressing some of the demands made by the aggrieved Nigerians and making efforts to make sure that food is made available. The minister said the president believes that the government is answering the questions being asked.
The position of the Federal Executive that the protesters are making are actually being addressed by the federal government. And therefore, it is the view of government that there is really no need, can go there and buy this rice at 40,000 naira. In the first instance, about 10 trucks are being made available to each of these states. Government has not pretended that these supplies are indeed enough, but these are necessary first steps that are being made.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, on Monday blamed the planned nationwide protest against the rising cost of living on politicians who lost the 2023 elections, alleging that they are intent on coming to power through the back door. The Senate President made the comment at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, shortly after the signing into law of the new National Minimum Wage Bill by President Bola Tinubu during his week's meeting of the Federal Executive Council meeting. Stressing the need for those behind the protest to abandon it, he appealed to the nation's youths.
So I want to use this opportunity to call on the means is that people are preparing to loot and go around and do all sorts of things. Where we are today was all caused by 1 year's administration. It is the outcome of years of insecurity. Many people could not go to farms for almost 10 years and all that. And the president has risen to the occasion. I'm excited that, yes, indeed, the government is doing what it should. And we, the leaders in the National Assembly, we are touching at various constituencies. So my appeal to the Nigerian youth is do not allow any group to mislead you politically. People who probably did not have their fortunes in 2023 election are thinking they can come to the back door. That will amount to anarchy. Any destruction of any property will cost Nigeria money. And we don't have the money. Instead, let's put the money in developing you and developing your environment instead of going to rebuild.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory FCT, Nyesom Wike, has appealed to youths in the nation's capital not to join the planned August NBAD governance protest against hardship and economic woes. The former Rivers State Governor had last week said the FCT was not available for any protest, attracting a barrage of strong reactions from youths who vowed to stage a rally at Eagle Square come next month. However, the minister appeared to have soft-pedaled in a town hall meeting with youth stakeholders in the Buari Area Council of the FCT on Monday, when he urged them to talk about their grievances and shelve the planned nationwide protest. Area Council chairmen, traditional rulers, religious bodies, representatives of women and youth groups were present at the meeting. In his welcome address, the FCT minister appreciated those present at the town hall for embracing dialogue, even as he maintained that President Bola Tinubu continues to do his best to move the nation forward. On infrastructure development, Wike announced the president's approval to create a youth secretariat in the FCT administration and police stations in each area council in the nation's capital. He called on youths in all area councils to shun the protest and embrace dialogue, assuring them that things will get better soon.
I don't want anybody to go out on the road. Will you go out on the road? Are you joining them for the protest? Are you joining them for the protest? So you want us to talk? You want us to talk? We must talk. All those roads will be commissioned all this December.
Will directly benefit. I continue to urge them to be calm, to be patient. This government is fully prepared to turn things around.
Niger State youths have stormed the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway to protest the country's rising cost of living and the removal of fuel subsidies. They chanted anti-government songs and displayed placards with messages like "Fuel subsidy must be back," "Stop anti-masses policies," "Enough is enough," "We are not slaves in our own country," and "Hardship is unbearable." The protest comes 3 days ahead of the scheduled start date for the nationwide strike on August 1, which has seen the government and stakeholders plead for calm and patience from the President Bola Tinubu-led administration. The government has warned into violence. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has signed the 70,000 naira new minimum wage bill into law, following a disagreement between the government, private sector, and organized labor. The tripartite committee submitted two figures to the president, with the government and private sector offering 62,000 naira and organized labor demanding 250,000 naira. Tinubu agreed to pay 70,000 naira from the initial offer of 62,000 naira. The Federal Executive Council meeting took place at the State House in Abuja.
The final register for the 2024 governorship elections in Edo and Ondo State are being finalized.
Sorry for the mix-up in the video. The Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has charged political parties and their candidates for the Edo and Ondo governorship elections to comply with the established rules. He voiced his worry about the hostility and tension that are defining the campaigns. During the quarterly meeting with the political party leaders on Monday in Abuja, Yakubu also brought attention to the recent attacks on the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in Edo State, which led to the death of a security officer. The INEC chairman also pointed out that with only 53 days remaining until the Edo State election, some political parties had still not submitted the list of their polling and collation agents, even though the portal was set to close today, Tuesday, July 30. The INEC chairman revealed that the additional bimodal voter accreditation system machines have been provided to Edo State for training election duty personnel and contingency support on election day. Yakubu added that after completing the continuous voter registration process, the register was displayed for claims and objections from citizens. He explained that data cleanup was performed using the automated biometric identification system, and the final register for the 2024 governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states Chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Yusuf Dantale, stated that as a key player in the political process, IPAC remains steadfast in its commitment to ensuring electoral integrity. He added that the organization is dedicated to upholding the sanctity of the ballot box, respecting the will and mandate of the people, and promoting political stability and the well-being of Nigerians. Dantale emphasized that IPAC's efforts are focused on maintaining the credibility of elections and supporting the democratic process to benefit the entire nation. The IPAC chairman called for the immediate scrapping of the state's independent electory, saying the charade called elections they conduct is an aberration, dent and mockery of the emerging democracy, channeled rather to developmental projects.
The final register for the 2024 governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states are being finalized. Before the end of this week, the Commission will publish the final figures of new voters in the two states, as well as their distribution by gender, age, occupation, and disability. Thereafter, the timetable for the collection of uncollected PVCs from previous registration and new registrants from the latest CBR will be published. 14 political parties have uploaded the details. 354 polling agents and 819 collation agents for the Edo State governorship election. 3 parties are yet to upload a single polling agent, while 5 parties have not uploaded a single agent for ward, local government, or state collation centers. The deadline is tomorrow, Tuesday, 30th July 2024, when the portal automatically shuts down at midnight. I urge you to ensure that you meet the deadline so that the Commission can produce the accreditation tabs and deliver them to you for distribution to our agents in good time.
IPAC commend the recent financial autonomy granted to the 774 local governments in Nigeria following the landmark judgment of the Supreme Court. It will go a long way in transforming the nation and providing basic social amenities to citizens at the third tier of government. To further deepen democracy at the grassroots level, IPAC demands the immediate scrapping of State Independent Electoral Commission. The charade called election the conduct is an aberration, a dent and mockery of our emerging democracy. IPAC called for the amendment of the Constitution and the Electoral Act to empower INEC to conduct all local government polls. Council rejects the proposed bill by the Senate to create the so-called Local Government Independent Electoral Commission, bearing in mind that it will be another SIEC in disguise. It is unacceptable, it is ill-conceived, another electoral jamboree that will impede the nation's democracy and waste public funds at a time when citizens demand a smaller government to reduce the cost of governance at all levels.
We'll take a short break now and return in a moment. Stay with us.
Picture this. You're sitting at a table, ready to indulge in a mouth-watering meal. Stop. For many of us, it is hard to resist the temptation, especially when it comes to enjoying a juicy beef dish. But have you ever stopped to think about the impact of your food choices on the greater good? Our food choices have a great impact on others. The beef industry is one of the leading contributors to deforestation. It disrupts the delicate balance of ecosystems, but also contributes to climate change. We can make a difference with our choices. It does not mean we all have to become vegans overnight. Imagine enjoying fish and poultry a few times a week, indulging in beef just once a month, and filling our plates with plenty of plant-based goodness. Every little bit counts, and even small reductions in our intake can make a huge impact on the climate. By making smarter food choices, we're not only taking care of ourselves, but also the planet we call home. Remember, The choices we make today lead to a better tomorrow.
We move now to other parts of Africa. Guinea's giant Simandou iron ore project, which is expected to start exports in 2 years' time, is set to contribute to the world's decarbonization efforts, according to Rio Tinto. Lawrence de Chambenoit, head of the external affairs, speech in the capital Conakry, that an iron content of nearly 65% and few impurities, Simandou project will make Guinea a key player. Do TransGuinea, a joint venture set up by Guinean government and its industrial partners to develop the world's largest iron ore reserve. The Chambenoy added that Simandou can be refined using less energy-intensive technologies that emit less carbon dioxide during the transformation into steel. The special purpose vehicle is owned 42.5% each by Rio Tinto and winning consortium Simandou and 15% by the Guinean state. The project entails the exploitation of 8 billion tons of iron ore deposit with an estimated annual output of 160 million tons, according to Jiba Diakite, chairperson of the Simandou Strategic Committee. The project plans as much as $15 billion investment in the mines, a port, and a 650-kilometer railway, of which 100 kilometers has been built so far. 95 Libyan nationals were arrested on Friday during a raid on a suspected secret military training camp appeared in court in Gauteng, South Africa on Monday. Police said in a post on the social media that they entered the country on study visas to train as security guards, but police investigations suggest they have received military training. According to South Africa's National Prosecuting Authority, the Libyan nationals who were arrested outside the town of White River, about 360 kilometers east of Johannesburg, will be charged for misrepresentation on their visa applications. The case has been postponed to 5 August to allow the court to find an Arabic interpreter. All 95 who appeared in court in civilian clothes are to remain in custody. Authorities said they were investigating whether there were more illegal bases in other parts of the country.
Are facing a charge of misrepresenting in their visa application. Remember, when they left their country in Libya, they came here to study in South Africa. However, where they were found, they were doing training to become soldiers. So,
with rapper Megan Thee Stallion, with less than 100 days left in one of the least predictable campaign seasons in recent history, Democrats are polling voters in swing states anew and redrawing their map into victory. Some Democrats now see Georgia, which Democrats barely won in a hard-fought battle in 2020, as a possible victory again in 2024. Harris will hold a political event in Atlanta at 7 p.m. EDT, the White House said, without providing more details. Megan Thee Stallion will join Harris in Atlanta, Billboard, Opens, New Tab, and Rolling Stone reported, citing a source. Georgia Senator John Ossoff said on MSNBC over the weekend that Harris' entry into the race has put Georgia in play for Democrats and predicted she will win. Swing states like Georgia are fiercely contested because they can lean either to Republicans or Democrats and play a decisive role in presidential elections. 538, the poll aggregation site, shows Republican Donald Trump leading Harris by between 1 and 5% points in survey taken after Harris became the likely Democratic candidate. In business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has announced that it will publish the names of owners of unclaimed balances in dormant accounts that are being transferred to the Unclaimed Balances Trust Fund UBTF pool account. In a statement titled Frequently Asked Questions on the Guidelines for the Management of Dormant Accounts, Unclaimed Balances and Other Financial Assets in Banks and Other Financial Institutions, unclaimed balances refer to accounts balances and other financial assets that have remained dormant for a minimum of 10 years in the books of financial institutions, FIs. They qualify for transfer to the CBN. The guidelines also cover dormant accounts which are distinct from domiciliary accounts. Accounts eligible for dormant status include current accounts, savings accounts, term deposits in local currency, domiciliary accounts, deposits for shares and mutual investments, prepaid card accounts and wallets, government-owned accounts, and others are specified by the CBN. In entertainment news, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's son, Parks Jolie Pitt, is recovering in hospital after a scary e-bike accident in Los Angeles on Monday. The 20-year-old collided with a car in Los Feliz Boulevard, sustaining head and hip injuries. Paramedics initially feared a brain bleed, but Parks is now in stable condition. The incident serves as a stark reminder of the importance of road safety, especially for bike riders. And finally, sports news. The Tigers point guard Ezinne Kalu fired a warning at opponents after spearheading a ferocious defense in Nigeria's 75-62 win over Australia in the 2024 Olympics Women's Basketball Tournament Group B opener in Lille on Monday morning, Sports Extra reports. Winning their first ever game in an Olympic group phase brought so much joy to Kalu, who could barely talk after the game fired a warning at the next group opponents, Canada and France, telling FIBA.com that the African champions smell blood wherever they are on the court. The team's head coach Renee Wakama is also basking in the euphoria of the historic win as she hailed Kalu for putting up a top draw performance. She said she brought her experience and her fresh mind. It was an epic performance in 20 years, as well as making history by coming out of the top of a group phase game for the very first time. Defensively, the Tigers were warriors, a fact not lost on Kalu, who made a special return to the national team after a 3-year gap to claim 19 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists and 3 steals. Nigeria now face France and then Canada in their next Group B fixtures. And that's the news update. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, X and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. You can also view us from Limex on limex.tv and Glow TV apps anywhere in the world. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. Thank you for being there.
Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
How long were you going to live in denial? Suppressing what was right in front of you all these years. You have to understand. I was all he ever had. Besides, he had a troubled childhood and he stole mine. When little girls were being little girls, I was a slave in my own home. Broken and afraid, right in the place where I was supposed to feel safe. I kept you safe. How? Well, I took care of you when your deadbeat father was running the streets with those whores. I was left with 4 kids to take care of. I fed you. I gave you shelter. I clothed you and I paid your fees. My back was on the ground like a horse day and night. Your brother raped me. Operation. He did. He did, and you know it. You know this. He did. Cannot do that. For 5 miserable years, right under your nose. You were supposed to protect me and I came to you, I did, and you called me a little liar, said I should be ashamed of myself, and I have carried that shame all my life. I was the child. You were my mother and you did nothing. He is not perfect. No one is. You're not, I am not, but he loved you all dearly. He was a good man. He was the only help that I had. He took you to school. Those days, you were something else. You had this wild imagination, and I figured it was all coming from. I can't believe you. I can't believe you're sitting here trying to rationalize and make excuses for that predator and for failing as a mother. You ungrateful child. After all I went through for you, you then sit there and chastise me? Do you know what I went through? Do you? The mental torture, the physical and emotional abuse that I had to endure. One is supposed to do. My mother, my grandmother, all the women before me, they all did it. They never let out the secret. They were there. They forgave. They forgot. They bore the pain for their children and family. We were never a family, Mom. We weren't a family. We were broken. You should have taken us. You should have run as fast and as far as your legs could carry you. We would have been better off on the streets than in that house. But you were weak. And we had to pay the price. Everything is not always black and white. You women of this generation with your modern day ideologies and feminism, all you want to do is talk that you're using to speak so loudly and condescending with. So you don't sit there and judge me. You failed. Okay? And it's fine. It's okay to admit it. You failed. I raised my little girls with a nagging pain and a constant fear of neglect. So paranoid that I might make a mistake and repeat the same cycle. I see it now. I come from a line of broken and subdued women. But it ends. The cycle ends with me. No more. I forgive you. And I hope that you find healing for your soul as I do mine.
Reforms introduced and implemented by the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu-led administration are aimed at streamlining business development processes and building investors' confidence in the state's economy. And the Sanwo-Olu's government has been proactive in implementing business-friendly regulations and constantly reviewing ease of doing business policies to lessen challenges associated with new business registration and obtaining permits. The digitalization of services has equally eliminated bureaucratic bottlenecks while enhancing stability in the business environment, demonstrating a new push for an aggressive investment inflow to boost Lagos State's economic growth. This is a Greater Lagos vision. Lagos is indeed rising. I am Love Oyedokun. Welcome.
This is Lagos, the heartbeat of Nigeria, a city steeped in rich cultural heritage and now poised to become a global financial center.